Sorry, please be patient. The table is a wave introduction material. There are so many topics about finite waves, we intend to summarize briefly, but they don't fit in the table. Especially electromagnetic waves, so remind us one day to make a separate video about electromagnetic waves. We will learn a lot from there. Heinrich Rudolf Hertz, for his contributions to the field of electromagnetism, stated that the number of waves in 1 second means that 1 Hertz is equal to 1 wave per second. Interestingly, this measure can be used to measure any wave as long as it is periodic. For example, the frequency of the motion of a wall clock pendulum is 1 Hertz. Maxwell's ideas about electromagnetic waves were realized by Rudolf Heinrich Hertz and his colleagues through the development of the wireless telegraph towards the advancement of machines. These are some of the discoveries that we think contributed to the impact of music. Many we forgot to explain, and likewise the rest will be discussed briefly. We start from the first year 1000 AD, the invention of the concept of an image capture device, now called a camera. Invented by Ibn Haytham, nicknamed the father of modern optics. He lived during the Abbasid Caliphate, besides that he also found burned glass or lenses.
You invented the camera?
I laid the foundations for modern cameras by explaining how our eyes work. I found a way of projecting an image onto another surface through a small hole in a dark room, later called camera obscura.
Think of all the things that evolved from this discovery. Cameras, cinema, all share the same principle.
Next, we have explained in full. Then there was the invention of a document sending machine. Or rather a document duplication machine by the Scottish philosopher, Alexander Bain.
We're going to demonstrate this principle with a human fax. Rex has got a big bit of paper just over the ridge, and I'm going to fax this message to him using these flags to signal to him. We're going to walk over our bits of paper using metronomes to keep us in step. And I'm going to hold up the green flag to signal the start of each line. And I'm going to hold up the red flag whenever I step on a black bit of the paper. Bain's fax machine was inspired by an earlier discovery that paper soaked in potassium ferrocyanide turns black when electricity is passed through it. So if I put it on this metal plate and move a nail across it, it should change colour when I complete the circuit. Bain had the idea of using this paper to receive messages assembled out of printer's type. So if Rex, with a bit of help from Percy, moves his nail across the raised part of a bit of type while I move my nail across the paper, we should be able to send the message in a series of lines just like we did with the human fax. Of course, this time the message is being sent by pulses of electricity, so it can be sent like Morse code along telegraph lines. Bain fixed the nails at the sending and receiving ends to the pendulums of his electric clocks. This kept them in sync, however far apart they were. However, having patented the idea in 1843, he never developed it. The oldest existing fax machines are in the Musée National des Techniques in Paris. These magnificent contraptions, called pantelegraphs, were built by a French engineer called Abbé Caselli in about 1860. They're the same idea as Bain's machine, but Caselli had perfected them, and these actually ran the world's first commercial fax service between Paris and Lyon. The message to be sent was wrapped on one of these curved plates. Instead of Bain's raised type, it was engraved out of very thin sheets of copper. These machines don't work anymore, but there would have been a stylus in here, the equivalent of our nail, to make the contact, and it was moved across the message by this large pendulum and attracted from side to side by the large electromagnets. At the receiving end, you'd put a bit of Bain's soggy paper on one of these curved plates with another stylus resting on it. Then, if you got the two pendulums swinging together, the message could be reproduced. In practice, getting the pendulums to swing together 250 miles apart wasn't at all easy. They had to have a separate clockwork chronometer at each end to get them in sync before the message could be sent. The definition the pantelegraph achieved is really quite extraordinary. Unfortunately, though, it was too far ahead of its time. The pace of business life was so slow that there wasn't any real demand for it, and it was abandoned after only 4 years due to lack of customers.